Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, I'm joined by Command Master Chief Fleet Derek Walters, the command's senior enlisted leader of U.S. Central Command. On behalf of the soldiers, sailors, airmen and Marines, Coast Guardsmen and Guardians who serve this command, the Central Region, and the nation every day, thank you for allowing me to testify regarding the posture of U.S. Central Command. This year is the 40th in our Centcom history. In January of 1983, the United States Congress authorized the establishment of Centcom to serve as the security guarantor in the Middle East, the Levant, and the Central Asian states. Today, we rely heavily on partnerships the command has developed, and Centcom serves as the security integrator of the world's central region. The story of this command between 1983 and today is one that parallels the threats and opportunities of the region it supports for the past 4 decades. Central Command was formed to counter the influence of the revolutionary regime that had seized power in Tehran and to compete strategically with the Soviet Union. The organization's original charter was to direct and enable military operations and activities with partners to increase regional stability in support of American interests. That mission remains essentially unchanged to this day. Iran remains the focus. We now battle violent extremist groups who threaten the United States or interests in the region. The Soviet Union has been replaced with China and Russia as strategic competitors. The region remains vitally important to the nation and the world. Ours is an area of responsibility that encompasses 21 nations, 600 million people, and serves as the strategic nexus of the world's most important corridors of trade. Today, CENTCOM's priorities are to deter Iran, counter violent extremist organizations, and compete strategically with China and Russia. That is what we do. 4 decades after CENTCOM's formation, Iran remains the primary destabilizing element in the region. We've seen rapid advances in Iranian military capability over time. The Iran of 2023 is not the Iran of 1983. In fact, Iran today is exponentially more militarily capable than it was even 5 years ago. Today, Iran possesses the largest and most diverse missile arsenal in the Middle East, with thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles. Iran also maintains the largest and most capable UAV force. Iran's vast and deeply resourced proxy forces spread instability throughout the region and threaten our regional partners. Iran continues to enrich uranium far above what is needed for commercial use. Iran can enrich uranium far faster than it could even 2 years ago. An Iran with a nuclear weapon would change the Middle East overnight and forever. As Iran continues to destabilize the region, we continue to fight violent extremist organizations. 4 years ago today, March 23rd, 2019, was a historic day in CENTCOM's 40-year lifespan. In Baghouz, Syria, the global coalition eliminated the last so-called ISIS territorial caliph. This historical achievement did not come without loss. During the fight against ISIS in Iraq and Syria, tens of thousands of our partner forces were wounded or killed. Our partners were fully in the lead. 20 American service members were killed and dozens were wounded. They will always be remembered throughout U.S. Central Command by their countrymen for their sacrifice in defense of stability in the region. Today, we continue the fight against ISIS in Syria alongside our Syrian Democratic Force partners to ensure the enduring defeat of ISIS. And we remain in Iraq to advise, assist, and enable the Iraqi security forces in the fight against ISIS. In Afghanistan, ISIS Khorasan seeks to expand its ranks and develop the capability to inspire, enable, or direct attacks in the region and beyond, with the group's ultimate goal to attack the U.S. homeland. Amidst these challenges, strategic competition is deeply manifest in the region. The People's Republic of China aggressively expands its informational, military, and economic instruments of national power across the region. And now, Beijing seeks to establish its diplomatic influence. China, dependent on the region for over half of its imported crude oil and more than a third of all its natural gas, is also moving beyond energy-based investments to encompass physical and telecommunications infrastructure that advances its Belt and Road initiatives. 19 of 21 CENTCOM countries have signed a Belt and Road agreement with China. We are in a race to integrate with our partners before China can penetrate the region. Russia, on the other hand, seeks to expand its influence in Syria, seeking a permanent basing there and undermining our efforts towards stability and security. Putin seeks a foothold of influence in the Central Asian states, leveraging historical relations and a perceived decline in U.S. engagement to challenge our influence in this area of the world. With these challenges, the Centcom region holds the greatest risk of derailing the national defense strategy with a flashpoint international incident that may demand a response using unplanned resources or attention. That is why we require a sufficient and sustainable force posture to accomplish these missions without relying on additional forces. And to accomplish these strategic priorities, Centcom focuses on a strategic approach centered on people, partners, and innovation. People are our greatest asset and our most critical resource. Our partners are the nation's comparative advantage against competitors like China and Russia. And across Centcom, we cultivate deep, abiding partnerships that can serve as a hedge against threats in the region, while deterring Iran from its most destructive behavior. And China views our partners as merely customers and clients. Innovation of thought, innovation of process, innovation of concept, and technology extends the value of our partnerships, and innovation allows us to move faster, operate more efficiently, and increase progress across all operational efforts. So deter Iran, counter violent extremist organizations, and compete strategically are what we do. People, partners, and innovation, that is how we do them. In closing, let me thank you again for the support of our service members, civilians, and their families. For 40 years, much of that time in sustained combat and Centcom area of responsibility, the United States and the region relied on the American service member for the security and stability of the region and to advance American interests. Those men and women have fulfilled the original promise of this command and in some of the toughest circumstances, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. It is the greatest honor of my lifetime to be their commander.